This is going to be a 10-minute video about how I ended up on the West Coast from the little town of Canton, Ohio, over 10 years ago. So let's dig in. Now, relocating, as we all know, has multiple different meanings for multiple different people. It could be relocating at a young age with your family due to your parents getting a new job. It could be relocating because of a military base change. It could be relocating because a family member was in need and you went there to support them. So relocation for a lot of different people can mean a lot of different things. But I wanted to share this journey of how I got to Eugene, Oregon, over 10 years later from growing up in Canton, Ohio. Let's dig right into it. I grew up in a middle-class town that had a great, sports tradition, a great community. It was a good place to be raised by my family. I'm not going to lie. It was the ultimate place to just, dig in, not have tons of crime, and be able to, have a good upbringing. Hunting, fishing, going to Friday night football games, hanging out with friends, camping. Ohio's a good place. I'll never have anything bad to say about it. But in that journey, I realized that I was always looking to explore. I had the opportunity of working for an arena football team, the Canton Legends, which won the national championship in 2006 or 7. I can't remember. God bless my inability to remember dates. But I had the chance to travel all up and down the East Coast and the South, and I realized those areas really weren't for me. There was a lot of congestion. There was a lot of politics and other things that I didn't agree with. There was a lot of crime in specific areas that we had traveled to. So I had the ability to see most of the third of the country in my college years while I was going to school at Kent State University to pursue a degree in advertising. And as I developed my marketing and advertising expertise and I eventually graduated in 2008, I just realized that I wasn't going to stay in Canton, Ohio after applying for multiple jobs. I'm talking ad agency after ad agency after ad agency. All of my friends that went to school with me had moved to Chicago, New York, Miami, Atlanta to go work at these big agencies. And they were like, hey, you just got to get out of Canton, Ohio. There's more opportunity elsewhere. Well, fast forward, I realized that I really had a passion of combining advertising and marketing with construction, real estate, design, build. I grew up in the construction trade. My grandfather owned a construction company, and it was in my blood. But I wanted to be able to take my advertising and marketing degree and coupling that with the passion of working in that industry. So I took a year after college, and I basically worked as a landscape and construction estimator. And in that process, I realized that I was working on a lot of high-end homes and country clubs and different things. And I realized if I could get into the sales and marketing aspect of this, I would really enjoy that, but it's just not here. The job market's sluggish. We're coming out of a bad recession or still in it. So what I did is I saved up my money for about a year straight. That took a lot of sacrifice. That was friends calling me on Friday and Saturday nights to go out to the bars. Wasn't doing it, guys. Basically, I was sacrificing everything I could to save as much money as possible. In that whole process, I adopted a dog. Shout out to Mello, rest in peace. She passed away this last year, 15 years old. And in that, I had grown some responsibility of having my own pet now, right? Life is changing. I'm just getting out of college. I have my own dog. I have my own place. I'm saving up money, but I need to get somewhere else. And just by chance, I had gone out to fly out to Portland, Oregon to a couple job interviews, and it just didn't click. There's that feeling you get when you're in specific areas where you just know, am I meant to be here or am I not meant to be here? So after coming back from Portland, I was like, I need to readjust my goals. And right then, a family friend had lost their father that was living in San Jose. And they said, hey, do you want to come out, come visit? Let's do this. So just by chance, I went on a little mini vacay out to San Jose, California. And in the back of my mind, I knew this was kind of the process that I wanted to get somewhere else. And I fell in love with San Jose. There was culture, there was different food, there was nightlife, there was emerging tech industry that was reviving. There was a lot of opportunity for construction and being able to apply some of the things that I was looking to do. And by chance, and and coming out of my uncomfortable introvert bubble, I asked, hey guys, would it be ever possible if I could live here or crash here for a few months while I got my feet, off the ground and got a job here? And they opened their eyes, or opened their arms. And with that opportunity, one of the best things anyone's ever done to me is said, yes, like, go talk to your family, see if everything will align, and we're willing to open the doors to our home and allow you to make the plunge here. And so in that 6 month to a year process, I had gone out there a few times for interviews, just kept trying to do what I was doing after I graduated by getting more of my network out there and building and putting feelers out there. It still was sluggish. There was nothing happening. I was starting to get frustrated. I was starting to build a bank account, but I didn't really have the set destination there outside of being able to couch surf out of family friends. Well, I realized in that point that that's when you have to operate in uncomfortable territory, where most people would find or land the job and then move there and find an apartment and go through that standard relocation process. I'm shooting this video because I did not go through that standard relocation process. I took all the money in my bank account, I threw my dog in my car, I packed everything up, sold everything else that I didn't need or didn't want, and I literally got in my car and drove to San Jose, California. 4 days later, landed there, packed my stuff in the garage, had a couch to sleep on, and I said to myself, I have to make a life for myself. If I don't do this myself, I'll be back in Canton, Ohio, and my parents would be like, I told you so. They already thought I was crazy from relocating 3,000 miles away with no job. So I honed my resume, honed my pitch, and by chance took a $12 an hour job working as a as a nursery and construction marketing manager for a multi-nursery network. $12 an hour. I told the gentleman in the interview, I was making more money in Ohio, and I can't believe I'm taking this job, but just give me an opportunity. And from $12 an hour to $16 an hour to $20 an hour, and a year and a half later, I had built some of the biggest accounts for our nursery chain. As he's working on Pebble Beach, I was working on landing accounts with Apple, with other big companies, with big landscape architecture firms, new construction firms, vertical garden companies. And in that, I was recruited by another nursery chain to be a buyer. Well, it wasn't always for me. So fast forward, I got recruited again by a landscape and design build general contractor who is also a multifamily owner and real estate broker. And in that convergence of about 2 to 3 years, from a $12 an hour job to working one of the best jobs I've ever worked, growing a construction company to over $3 million in revenue, I had the chance now to start doing what I really wanted to do. And I wanted to really stress everybody that relocation isn't always instant gratification. Sometimes relocation is putting in 2 or 3 years of sacrifice and work to land the job that gives you the opportunity to put your marketing and advertising or whatever you studied in school to work with the passion of an industry that you really want to pursue in. And as we built that construction company out and eventually both business partners went their separate ways, I had the ability to jump into a $1 billion real estate office and work for one of the most successful real estate brokers in that area. We were doing design build projects, development renderings. I was doing some recruiting and operations and marketing systems and doing tons of luxury marketing listings. And what I realized is that I loved real estate. But if I wouldn't have done that pathway before of working for a famous landscape architect, working for a big corporate nursery chain, then building a construction design build company with massive, client list and celebrities and business owners and NFL stars, all of that came from jumping in my car, putting my dog there, and making the opportunity, creating my own pathway. And so relocation to some people has to be super organized, right? It has to be exactly what you wanted. But I wanted to share this story because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I just needed to be in the place that I was being, and I needed to get there and start creating the opportunities for myself. Now, fast forward, I have moved 10 years later. I live up in Eugene, Oregon with my beautiful family, and I run a real estate team. I'm the VP of growth at a technology real estate company, and I'm also an active investor. But all of that experience that honed me into this, what I am today, came from a pathway of struggle, came from a pathway of not making a lot of money, taking chances, taking risks, working for startups, changing jobs every 2 or 3 years because I wasn't comfortable just sitting there being somebody else's employee. And all of this, I want to say, comes back to a few major things you need to understand about relocation. Number one, it's not always perfect. You got to create the pathway by taking a chance, by mapping out what you need to do and how you need to do it, but understanding it may not pan out the way you want it to actually pan out. Number two is understanding that you got to build a war chest of money within some regard. I never suggest anybody move to a different area with no money. It's an operation to be homeless. Number three is always expanding and building your network and creating relationships with people and leading with value and helping others. By creating all of these relationships in an area I've never lived or grew up, I was able to fast forward my chance of opportunity by opening up different avenues and really staying true to who I am and being able to build relationships and help people. Number four is being able to constantly re-engineer your pathway through that relocation journey. And what I mean by that is when things don't operate or you hit a dead end, being able to pivot and being able to expand on what you really want to do and how you want to do it. I really want to stress that you have to be flexible. You have to be like a chameleon in this process, because relocation doesn't mean that just because you relocated, everything is going to work out proper and perfect. Relocation and being able to build a career in a different area and really plant your roots deep comes through trial and error and chance and taking risks. And last but not least, in this relocation journey is understanding that if you're an introvert or somebody who doesn't like to take chances, is that let the journey or the ride change you. Be open to change. Be open to learning new cultures or languages, being able to try new things. By moving from a place like Canton, Ohio to San Jose, California, we're talking like a 20x population increase. We're talking about like 5 to 10 different new cultures. We're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of different food choices. We're talking about different networks and neighborhoods. Everything was different. So I'm putting this relocation journey into perspective because it wasn't perfect. You have to understand that nothing in the relocation journey is ever perfect. But if you're gonna redesign your life and you're gonna uproot yourself, you gotta be able to create opportunity. You gotta stay motivated. You gotta be able to understand that you're taking a risk, and whatever comes of it, you're gonna be able to have perseverance and be able to push on through. And I wanted to share this journey with everybody because people who know me personally know that what I did was unlike a lot of people. A lot of people got a job or applied for new jobs in a new area and then moved there. I didn't. I created my entire pathway by getting there and getting my hands dirty in the new area that I was going to live and asking people, right? You know, you always hear that saying where people say, if you don't ask, you never know you'll ever get, or whatever it is. Sorry, stumbled that one horribly. But if you don't ask, you'll never know if you can get it. I just asked, hey guys, would it be all right if I slept on your couch for a few months to a year just to get my opportunity here? That was one of the most uncomfortable conversations I had ever done in my entire life. I just specifically was asking somebody, hey, can I move into your house and start paying you rent when you didn't anticipate any of this, or this might have never been on any of your radar or goals. And in that opportunity, God bless all my friends and family and new family that I met along the way, I was able to meet some of my best friends, some of my business partners. I was able to network with some of the biggest and brightest minds in the country, have amazing clients, also meet my wife, raise a kid, have great in-laws and support system. And this whole journey started with me in Ohio, interview after interview after interview, not getting the job and just saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna relocate and create my own life and my own journey. And I'm that constant pursuit of exploring and being curious has led me to where I am today. So I appreciate you guys listening. I know it's 15 minutes of a weird, crazy mix of events that happened in my life, but if you like what you're hearing, hit the notification bell. I'd love to be able to network with people, sharing anything that I can do in terms of real estate investing, as well as marketing and systems and building a successful company. But I just hope you take this relocation journey and the rawness of it and apply it to your life. Even if you don't relocate, just take chances. Be able to build a life around creating and pursuing the dreams that you want to live. I appreciate you guys listening and hope you have a great rest of your 2021. Take care.